Why do we work 40 hours a week? Imagine waking up to an alarm, leaving your house, spending 8 hours inside a building you don't own, then going home, sleeping, and doing it all again. Now imagine explaining that to a hunter-gatherer from 20,000 years ago. They would think you've lost your mind. Because for almost all of human history, nobody lived like this. So why do we? Why do billions of people accept this schedule as normal? Who decided that 5 days of work and 2 days off was the right formula, and why does it still control our lives today? The answer starts with a simple truth. The 40-hour work week is not ancient, it is not natural, and it was definitely not designed by evolution. For most of human history, humans were hunter-gatherers. That doesn't mean life was easy. There were predators, disease, starvation, and extreme weather. But early humans were not spending all day, every day, working the way we do now. Studies of modern hunter-gatherer groups suggest they often spend only a few hours a day getting food and essential resources. The rest of the time was spent socializing, resting, making tools, caring for children, and telling stories. Survival looked different. There was no alarm clock, no Monday morning, no manager, and no inbox. People worked when there was work to do. Then, everything changed. Around 12,000 years ago, humans discovered farming, and that changed the entire species. People could now grow crops and raise animals, which meant more food, more people, more cities, and more power. But it also meant something else. Fields had to be planted, watered, protected, and harvested. Animals had to be fed and managed every single day. So for the first time, humans were locked into routine labor. And here's the crazy part. A lot of historians think early farmers may have worked harder than the hunter-gatherers before them. So civilization didn't just create progress, it created pressure. Then came surplus. That changed everything again. Once societies could produce more food than they immediately needed, some people no longer had to farm. They could become builders, merchants, priests, soldiers, and administrators. Work became organized, specialized, and controlled. But the modern work week still didn't exist. For centuries, people worked according to daylight, seasons, and local custom. Then the Industrial Revolution arrived, and it ripped everything apart. Factories appeared, machines took over production, millions of people left farms and moved into cities, and suddenly workers had to fit their lives around the machine, not the other way around. Factory owners wanted one thing: consistency. Machines made money when they kept running, so workers were pushed harder and harder. 12-hour days, 6-day weeks, children working alongside adults, dangerous conditions, broken bodies, exhaustion everywhere. By today's standards, it looks insane. Back then, it was called progress. Until workers finally had enough. Labor movements started fighting back. Their demand was simple. Humans should not spend every waking hour working. One slogan captured it perfectly: 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, and 8 hours for what we will. That line changed everything, because now the fight wasn't just about money, it was about time. Years of strikes, protests, and pressure slowly brought working hours down. Governments passed laws, employers adapted, the modern work week started to form. Then something interesting happened. Some businesses realized shorter hours could actually make workers more productive. A tired worker makes mistakes. A rested worker gets more done. So the 5-day, 40-hour week spread, and eventually it became normal. But here's the part nobody likes to admit. It only feels normal because we grew up inside it. The 40-hour work week is not a law of nature. It is not a human instinct. It is a historical compromise built from agriculture, industrial pressure, labor struggle, and economic convenience. In other words, we are still living by rules designed for factories from over a century ago, even though the world has changed completely.
Machines do work that once required thousands of people. Computers process information instantly. Artificial intelligence is starting to automate entire jobs. And yet, many people feel busier than ever. Why? Because work is no longer just work. It is identity. It is status. It is survival. When someone asks, "What do you do?" they are not just asking about your job, they are asking who you are. And that makes change much harder, because if you change the work week, you are not just changing schedules, you are changing culture. You are changing identity. You are changing the way society measures value. That is why debates about 4-day work weeks, remote work, and flexible schedules matter so much. They are not just workplace debates, they are arguments about the future of human life. So the real question is not why we work 40 hours a week. The real question is this: why are we still acting like a system built for factories in the industrial age is the final version of human civilization? Because maybe it isn't. Maybe it was never meant to be. And maybe one day, future generations will look at our lives and ask the same thing we ask about the past. How did they think that was normal?
This is Origins of Us, a journey into the history of humanity and the events that shape the world we live in today. If you want to understand the full story of humanity, not the myths, but the science, then be sure to subscribe and we'll see you in the next video.